Hi, welcome to a new episode of The Young and the Restless. We opened up with Sally and Chloe at the coffee house discussing work and her offer for Victor, but Chloe doesn't like the idea of working with Victor and calls out Sally for not accepting Nick's help when he offered to help, but no, she wants to work with Victor. And Chloe says that it's a recipe for disaster. And then we go to Newman and we see Nicky and Nate. And they're in a meeting and Nate tries to impress Nicky. But Nicky isn't liking it and she stops him because she thinks he's trying to flatter her and says that it makes her even more suspicious of him. Then we go and we see Adam is with Phyllis in her room and Adam wants to further details from Phyllis on what she's up to. But Adam makes his assumption and thinks that it has to do with Christ in the EMT. Adam says that he is in with Phyllis and says that he has found something that could help her. Phyllis tells Adam that it has to be big or it will not work. And Adam says it's big. And he tells Phyllis the story about Tucker trying to bury a statutory rape case by one of his artists on his label and find out that Audra was the one who was doing the dirty work for Tucker. Then we see Nate apologize and says that he didn't mean to offend her. And Nicky reminds him that she is not a pushover and says that she trusts Nick's instinct when it comes to Nate. And she warns him that whatever game he has planned, it will not work. And she tells him to meet her at the athletic club. They will discuss his future there. Then we see Sally says that Victor's terms are very attractive, and Chloe thinks that it's not worth burning a bridge with Chancellor to go work with Victor. Then Chloe accuses Sally of trying to impress Victor for Nick's sake. Chloe says that Victor just have her under his control and thumb now, and Chloe says no, she wants no part of it. Sally still tries to convince her, but Chloe says she wants no parts and leaves. Then we go back and Phyllis can't believe that Adam chose to give her such great information, and Adam says that he wants to work with the best at his new company, so it's gonna help him eventually. Then at the club, Nate tries to charm Nicky again, but she tells him to stop the fakery and asks what he really wants at Newman. And he admits that he wants to run Newman side by side with Victoria. And he thinks that they can make it a huge success. And Nicky asks if he's in love with Victoria. Then we see Adam and Sally run into each other at the park, and Sally vents that Chloe walked out on her with the deal with Victor, and Adam reminds her that Chloe judged character, and Chloe might be right, and tells her that Victor always has a motive, even though Sally has great talent. She asks Adam if she should do it, and Adam says that it's great seeing her getting her fire back. Then Nate says that no, he isn't in love with Vic. They are nowhere near a relationship level. And Nick asks if he's still running Newman, if he's still gonna consider running Newman if it does not work with them. Nate thinks that he and Vic has a solid friendship as a groundwork, so it won't affect them. Adam tells Sally that maybe it's a good deal, and then they talk about Nick not being in town. And Sally tells her that Nick tells her to be careful. Then we see Phyllis run into Christine at society, and Phyllis is happy. And Christine tells her that her freedom will be short-lived. Christine announced that they have moved up the trial, and Phyllis gloats that she doesn't get to be gleeful. She will be out soon. Then while Nicky is there lecturing Nate, Elena sits and she's listening to the conversation. And Nicky tells Nate that he has a poor track record when it comes to relationships. And Nicky tells him that he puts himself in a situation where he will be constantly under scrutiny because of his past actions. And Nicky threatens if he hurts Victoria that he will be fired and his ambitions will get to nowhere. Elena sits in her chair at her table and gloats. Then we see Sally tells Adam that Nick is being out of town has been good for her. She misses him, but she was too dependent on him. She can recover and heal on her own. And she asks Adam if he is healing. Then we see Christine thinks that Phyllis is being delusional and says that her future is in the hands of the jury. And she calls her for being selfish to pull Summer into the situation. Then Phyllis threatens and tells her not to dare pull her daughter into the situation. Cricket. Then we see Nicky gets a call and Nate goes over to Elena and she pretends to ignore him, but Nate still tries to talk to her. And she tells him to stop being this cute guy act, this nice guy act. It doesn't work. Nate says that he just wants peace, and Elena tells him that she overheard the conversation with Nicky and threatens to have a conversation with Nicky and tell her who she really is. And says that she will light fire and burn him to the ground. And says that it's a warning for him to stay away from her. Then leaves and Nicky comes back and asks what's going on. Is that the same thing that's going to affect her daughter? And I'm like, Nicky, Victoria is no victim here. Victoria is the one who pushed herself up and Nate and started this whole affair. Stop. Then we see Adam tells Sally that it has not been easy for him. And she says likewise and tells him how much it's painful and hurt for him. And she has decided to make herself move on by working. Adam says that working worked for a while, but it's a little distraction. And says that when he goes home, he feels empty. Sally says she threw away the maternity clothes and the baby clothes, and Adam no longer wants to talk about it. And Sally thinks that Adam is shutting her down, but Adam says that he is not yet at that place. And Sally tells him that she's sorry, and whenever he's ready to talk, he knows where to find her. Back at society, Christine claims that Summer committed a felony, and Phyllis thinks that Cricket is taking it too personal and says that it's all on her. It has nothing to do with Summer. She says that she was trying to protect her mother. But Christine offers Phyllis a deal and says that if Phyllis accepts the sentence and waive the right to an appeal, she won't pursue charges against Summer. Then we see Nicky and Nate return to Newman, and Nate is glad that they had lunch and had clarity. And she questions his run-in with Elena and says that it has nothing to do with Victoria. Nicky says that Vic deserves a solid and transparent relationship, and if he gives her that, then they are friends, and if he calls her hurt, it will be his worst nightmare. Then we see Sally sends Nick a "I miss you" text. Then we end with Tucker coming in and interrupting Phyllis and Christine. And Tucker asks what was that about, and Phyllis says that she can handle it. Then they sit and drink, and Phyllis says that Carson won't be missing for long. And Tucker says that he stays missing as long as I want him to. Phyllis then says that she will keep her mouth closed and shut up if Tucker brings back Carson. And Tucker asks why. And she brings up the statutory rape. And Phyllis knocks the glass against Tucker's glass and says, "Cheers." Thanks for watching. Bye.